Anthony Robbins knows from a friend. Lesson 3, the unstoppable decision maker. I suffer through this little book there, of the power of the change, the power of your life, over there, or whether it is. And so, where is it? How do we engage it with the will and over the new result that we have to take new action for them, realize that all our actions are fathered by the decision, the power of the decision, the power of change. Again, it's true that we can always control the events. We can't always control the events of our lives, but we can control the decide, the think, and believe, the feel, and do these events. But we must remember that every moment that we live, whether we admitted within ourselves, whether not new, with the set of choice, with the new set of the actions, with the new set of results, merely a decision or two away. But the most of us forget that we have the power to choose ultimately within. So our decision not to be the condition to do ourselves, not to condition our lives or the determination with our destiny, how you would live with it today with the result. If you decided to spend time with it, would decide to learn not to learn, when you decide to leave, with your decision to give up, with your decision to pursue, with your decision to get married, have children, have a decision about what is to eat, with your decision to smoke, with a drink, with a decision with what you are and what you're capable of. All of these literally controlled by the distractive of your life. And sincerely would want to change your life, that we got to make some of the new decisions about what we stand for, what we're going to do, and what we're committed to do. When I use these word decision, I mean it real and considered choice. Most people say, well, I've decided that I'm going to lose some weight, but that's too general, not specifically enough. They're stating the preference for the offer the word, saying that I'd like to be thinner, and really decision made with cut off the possibility expect what you've committed to do when you little will not look over the back, and you will not even consider the alternative of the giving up. Let's give you the good example, a great example of a man understanding the power of the real decision making. Someone that wants to decide whether he would not give it up his name of the surgery. Ishio Honda, founder of the Honda Corporation that make with the Honda cars and motorcycle. Mr. Honda never allowed with the tragedy, the problems, the change, with the twists and turns, circumstances get in his way, and often he decided to see some of the biggest obstacles in his way with this, with the rate for the reach of his goals. In 1938, Mr. Honda was a poor student that had a dream of designing a piston ring that would sell to the manufacturer for the Toyota Corporation. Every day that he would go to school for all night long, would work on his design, elbows with the grease. He spent a little of the money and had to pocket in his project and will stop. Still wouldn't finish it. Finally, he looked in his wife's jewelry and took to continue. Mr. Honda offered to decide some of the biggest obstacles in his way with the hurdles, the race, and reaching his goal. After years of effort, finally designed a piston ring that he was sure the Toyota would buy. They took it to them and then rejected it and sent back to the school with self-humiliation with the teacher from friends telling him what an idiot was for designing such a ridiculous gadget. When frustrated, he obeyed. When he was broke, yes, he did give up the no way. Instead, he spent the next 2 years continuing to find his way with making the piston ring better. He had the key formula to success. He decided what he wanted. He took an action. He knows whether it was working or not, and when things weren't working, whether he kept the change of the approach and flexible with the way that it went about things. Finally, after 2 more years, he redefined his design, and Toyota actually bought it. In order to build his piston factory, Mr. Honda needed concrete, but Japanese government was gearing up for the World War II, so when that was none was available. Once again, he looked at his dream would die, and seemed no one would help him. And again, did he quit? Absolutely not. He decided to build his factory, so he giving up it was not an option. Got together with a group of friends for the 4 weeks of the work together, worked around the clock trying a different approach of it until they found a new way to manufacture the concrete, and he built the factory, was finally able to produce the piston rings. But wait, there's more. The story does not end here. But during the war of the United States bombed the factory, for destroying most of it, instead of the feeling defeated, he railed his employees instead of the quickly run outside with the watching for the planes with the drops of the fuel cans out of the sky. We need to find out whether we drop them or get those cans because they contain the raw materials we knew from our manufacturing profit. These materials they could get anywhere in Japan. Mr. Honda found the way with whatever life gave him, and with finally earthquake leveled his factory, and was forced to sell his piston operation to Toyota. But God never closes the door without opening another one, so he needed to stay alert. And so whatever new cooperation life presents us, when the war ended, Japan was in turmoil. Resources were scarce with all the property for the parts of the country, with the gasoline, with the ration. In some cases, it was nearly impossible to find. Mr. Honda couldn't even get enough gas to drive his car to work, to market back the food for his family. But instead of feeling defeated and helpless, he made a new decision. He decided what not sell for quality for this quality of life. He asked himself the very powerful question, how else can I feed my family? How can I use these things I already have to find a way to get there? And he noticed a little motor head, one that was the size and type of the drive of the traditional lawnmower. Got the idea of hooking it up to his bicycle. In the moment he first motorized the bike was created and drove it to and from the market. Pretty soon his friends were asking him to make some of for them, and shortly thereafter he made many of the motorized motorbikes that he ran out of the motors, so he decided to build a new factory in the manufacturing zone. But he had no money, and Japan was torn apart. How would he do it? It's in our moments of the decision that your destiny is shaped. Anthony Robbins. Instead of giving up saying there's no way, he came up with a brilliant idea. He decided after writing a letter to every single bicycle shop that went to Japan, telling them that he thought the solution for getting up to Japan, moving again with a motorbike, would be cheap and would get people to wherever they needed to go. But when he asked for them to invest of the 18,000 bike shop owners with the receipt of the letter, over 3,000 gave the Mr. Honda money to the manufacturer of the first shipment, but then it was successful, right, with the wrong, the motorbike was too big and bulky, very for the Japanese problem. So once again, he noticed that he wasn't working. Instead of giving up, he changed with the pros. He decided to trip the bike down, make it as much lighter with the small end. He called it the Cub, and it became the overnight success, winning with the 100th Emperor's Award. Everyone looked at him and thought how lucky he was to come up with this idea. Was he lucky? Maybe with the luck. It means labor under correct knowledge. And today, with Mr. Honda, the company with the most successful of the world, Honda Corporation now employs over 100,000 people. The house seller, all buy Toyota cars in the U.S., all because of Mr. Honda never gave up, never let the problem. The trick was to the get in his way with the habit that there's always a way to see it if you really are committed. Decisions. Yes, you and I both know that there are people that whether you were born with the disadvantage of the born to wealthy parents or privileged environment and seemed blessed with strong, healthy bodies, were taken care of everywhere they could imagine, never lacked for anything that you can also see. And I know that many of these are the same people that end up frustrated, with the chemically addicted. But the same takeover the constantly read about, with the hear about people that against with all of the odds explode beyond with the limitation for the condition, making with a new decision about what to do with their life. They have all become an example of the limited power of the human spirit. How these amazing individuals do it, but they all had some of the moment to decide that they had enough of the decide that would no longer tolerate with anything that became but their best, and they made it a real decision to change their life. What do I mean with a real decision? So many of the people that say that these things, well, I really should lose some. Shows Westman's decision. When you make it a real decision, you draw a line, and it's not in the sand, but in cement. Wait, I should make more money. I should do something to get a better job. I should stop drinking, but you should all of yourself with these things. We still wouldn't change. The only way to change your life is to make the real decision. The decision make you cut off any of the other possibility. The ones you decided to make a reality. The making of the decision simple and powerful. But you don't become the maker of them more often because you don't know the real decision. I think the decision are like a wish list. I'd like to quit smoking. I'd wish I would stop drinking, but the most often way they make a decision with so long forgotten what it feels like. When you make it a real decision, you draw a line with it, not in the same, but in the cement. You know exactly what you want with the kind of clarity it gives you the power to do with it, even more with the get the result of the decided to go for. The people who overcome the odds for the turn into for the lives around, the three powerful kinds of decision making every day. What to focus on, what the things mean, and what to do. Another favorite example of the story with Eddie Roberts, for the ordinary man confined with a wheelchair, but he became the extraordinary perfect decision to act beyond the apparent limitation, paralyzed from the neck down, so that he was 14 years old. But each of the day, he even his breathing device is mastered against for the greater odds to leave a normal life as possible. He spends every night in an iron lung, almost dying several times, and he certainly could have decided to focus on his own pain, but instead he chose the difference for the others, with just what he managed to do. For the last 15 years, his decision fight against the world, he often found with the condescending had a result of many improvements of the quality of the life of the people, the disabled, the Edward Robbins, the educated people, the initiated everything in the wheelchair, access ramp, special parking space for the grab bars. He became one of the first quadriplegic graduate of the University of California, Berkeley. Eventually held the position of the director of the California State Department of Rehabilitation, again pioneering this position for people who are disabled. Certainly, clearly, with the man choice to focus on something different from what most people in the position were focusing on. He focused on how he could make a difference. Physical difficulties meant challenge to him. What he decided to do was anything they could make for the quality of life of others in the position more comfortable, absolutely committed to himself with shaping the environment in a way that would improve the quality of life for the all physically challenged people. Edward Robbins probably evidence of the not where you start with the decision you make of the Bible with the determined end of the matter of all the action were found with a single powerful committed moment of decision. What could you do with your life and really decided to do? So decide now. All human progress begins with a new decision. So the where same things you have been putting off some of the things you know but need to make your life feel better. Maybe this decision replacing smoke with a drink, with the jogging, with the reading, and start each of the real earlier with a better attitude. Making a decision no longer blaming anyone else and instead of figure out some of the new action we could take each of the day to make you feel better. But maybe it's a decision to get a new job to fire or buy, finding a way to be more valuable than almost anyone else. Maybe the decision to study and develop some of the new skills that allow you to earn more, giving you more family and friends. Right now, but to make the decision you're willing to follow through on whatever it takes. First, make with a simple decision. Promise yourself with the others that you can easily keep the making the decision, acting upon it, and prove it yourself that you can make with a bigger decision. I'll begin with to develop stronger decision-making muscles. Now make a second decision that you know you will take an even more commitment to for yourself to make it one that inspires you for the two decision in the space below to tell your family and friends of the decision and that you've made. Enjoy the pride to sticking with it to them. Anthony Robbins, 2 important decisions I've made to commit and keep, whether you're making your decision real or not, depending on your ability to. Lesson 4, build your beliefs and blast off.